Today on the newscast, Israel says that Iran now has enough enriched uranium to build 5 nuclear bombs. Plus, Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi is in Damascus, where he convened a meeting today of terror leaders. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Eric Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. A very busy news day in the world's most chaotic and strategic region, the Middle East. Let's start with Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant visiting Greece, meeting with his Greek counterparts there, and declaring that Iran now has enough enriched uranium to build 5 nuclear bombs if it so chooses. Secondly, we'll break down the visit to Damascus and the terror meeting convened today in that city by Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi, meeting with leaders from Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and declaring that the end of Israel, or as he called it, the Zionist entity, is, quote, very close. Folks, needless to say, as we have been documenting for you here on the newscast, Iran and its proxies are feeling emboldened right now when it comes to Israel. We'll discuss that as well. And comments by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, in a meeting today in Jerusalem with a visiting U.S. congressional delegation. Folks, you'll want to hear what he said there to these U.S. officials. But hey, up first, before we break it down, real quick, if you have not subscribed to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube, hey, give us a subscribe and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. As you can see, we have some very busy times, that's an understatement, unfolding right now, in particular in the Middle East. Folks, these are Bible times. These are prophetic times, and we don't want you to miss a single daily commentary right here on the Watchman News channel. What happens in the Middle East does not stay in the Middle East, and events unfolding there right now will profoundly affect all of us, no matter where we live. Hey, one quick note as well. By popular demand, we now have a Watchman shop. The Watchman merch shop is now open with t-shirts, hats, mugs, stickers, some good stuff for all of our Watchman fans. It's a way to show your support for the channel, and it keeps us going here between the YouTube channel, the weekly TV show. Unfortunately, all of this isn't free, but we love and appreciate your support, and we thought the merch would be a pretty cool addition for our Watchmen viewers, subscribers, and fans. So check it out at shop.tbn.org/Watchmen. You see the URL on your screen right there, and also it is in the description under this video. Let's start today with Yoav Gallant in Greece. Israel's defense minister pulling no punches and just laying it out, folks, very matter-of-factly, and saying, look, Iran has amassed enough enriched uranium right now to build 5 nuclear bombs if it so chooses. And he made the point, Iran won't be satisfied with just one bomb. Obviously, Iran's not going to build one nuclear weapon and call it a day. No, the Iranian regime will look to expand that arsenal quite clearly, and they've got enough enriched uranium, according to Yoav Gallant, to do just that. Now, the kicker here, folks, and the big question is, does Iran begin to enrich that uranium to 90% levels? Right now, Iran has not done that. That's kind of the magic or tragic number, I should say, 90%. That is when you can build a bomb, when you start to enrich uranium to a 90% level. According to even the UN, Iran has been enriching to over 80%, but not on the threshold of 90%, but they haven't crossed that threshold yet. Once they do, they will have the capability to build, again, according to Israel's defense minister, not just one bomb, but 5 bombs. So to say the hour is late and a potential Israeli strike against Iran is looming is no exaggeration. And Gallant reiterated today, look, we, meaning Israel, we're not going to allow Iran to acquire the world's deadliest weapons and wipe us off the map. It ain't happening. He was very clear about that. He's just reiterating what Benjamin Netanyahu, other Israeli officials have said as well. And guess what, folks? I believe that Israeli leaders mean business. They mean what they say when they talk about taking out Iran's nuclear weapons program. Gallant also referenced Syria, which we'll jump to in a minute, And Iran's continued efforts, which we're documenting here on a daily basis at the newscast, continued efforts to transit weapons, create a highway essentially from Syria on to southern Lebanon to transit weapons, advanced weapons, into the hands of Hezbollah in southern Lebanon at Israel's doorstep. Gallant said, again, red line, we are not allowing this to happen. And of course, Israel has carried out hundreds of airstrikes against Iran and Hezbollah in Syria over the past few years, proving that what Gallant said today is very true. I keep saying here, folks, keep an eye on Syria as the potential trigger for what we've called here in the newscast the coming Great Northern War, where Israel will eventually be forced to face off with Iran, Hezbollah, and their various jihadist allies in Lebanon and Syria. Now, in this, the bulk of the action will occur in the north, I believe, but to Israel's south, we've got Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen even, who will also throw their hats in the ring. This entire Iranian-backed ring of fire, as we call it, will ignite eventually. Hey, we saw just 2 days ago over 100 rockets launched from Gaza alone into southern Israel. Speaking of Gaza, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, leaders from those terror groups met today in Damascus with Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. Now, Raisi, who's also known as the Butcher of Tehran, and I'm sure he earned that nickname in the late 80s when he worked in Iran's judiciary and is reportedly responsible for the deaths of thousands of Iranian dissidents. So that's how he earned that dubious moniker, the Butcher of Tehran. But he is paying an official state visit to Syria to meet with Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian dictator, the good friend of the Iranian regime, who is hosting the Iranian regime on Syrian soil and has been doing so for years, not to mention Russian soldiers as well. But Raisi and Assad pretty much were in a celebratory mood. Raisi praised Assad and congratulated him for prevailing in the Syrian civil war, which clearly Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia tipped the scales there in Assad's favor. And Raisi also had some choice words for Israel. Surprise, surprise, saying that Israel is about to meet its demise, that Iran, if Israel makes a false move, Iran will destroy the Zionist entity. You've heard it all before, and you might be tempted to dismiss it as just bluster and rhetoric, but folks, here's the issue. The Iranian regime and its proxies are shaping strategy around that rhetoric, and we saw that today with Raisi meeting with top officials from Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Damascus. So Iran is building, and its proxies, rapidly, folks, towards something. It was no coincidence, number one, that Raisi visited Damascus today. Look at Syria as a launching point for what Iran is doing, much of what Iran is doing against Israel. But number two, Iran's foreign minister visited the Israel-Lebanon border last week, overlooking northern Israel, along with officials from Hezbollah, and again was gloating and boasting and threatening Israel. Folks, do you get the sense that Iran's leaders feel emboldened right now, and they feel like Israel is vulnerable, that it is a weak point, because largely of that political dissension in Israel right now? But Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, rebutted that today in a meeting with members of the U.S. Congress who were visiting Jerusalem. He said, look, we're ready to act. We will do what we need to do to defend the world's one and only Jewish state. He didn't say this, but I'm saying it. Read between the lines. With or without the United States, Israel will do what it needs to do. But he said, Iran, if Iran acquires the bomb, he told these members of Congress, it will be more dangerous, quote, than 50 North Koreas because of Iran's ideology, its location in the Middle East, its alliance with Russia, too. I'm saying that. Bibi didn't, but I'm saying it. And he said also that U.S. cities would be essentially targeted. Iran would be able to blackmail the United States. Because, look, you might say, well, if they get the bomb, it doesn't mean they can reach the United States. Here's the issue with that. Iran is also working on intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. They do exactly what their name says. They're designed to travel across continents and travel across oceans. Folks, a thought I will leave you with. This Iran nuclear threat is not just a threat to the region or Israel. It is a threat to the entire world, including the nation that Iran calls the Great Satan, the United States. Hey, keep it all in prayer. God Almighty still sits on the throne. Israel is prepared to do what it needs to do when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. We all hope it doesn't get to that point, but let's be realistic. Iran is not going to stop this drive for the bomb, and Israel is not going to allow Iran to acquire the world's deadliest weapons, which could then be used against Israel. So you do the math. Keep it all in prayer. God is in control. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Watchman Newscast. Until tomorrow, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload, and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. And don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.